Cool. Welcome everyone to Meshery development meeting. Today is 5th of April, first meeting for the month of April. And with that, we have a couple of good agendas today. And if you also have an agenda, feel free to toss them in. I'll quickly share the link of meeting minutes again in chat. And if you haven't written your name yet to the attendees list, make sure you write your name. With that, let's start with today's meeting. And we will be following our weekly Lay 5 tradition to welcome newcomers. So if you are a newcomer to the community and joining this call for the first time, feel free to unmute yourself and give a quick introduction. I see a couple of new names in meeting minutes in participants list. So would like to introduce Gaurang Sharma or Harsh Goenka.
Hey Gaurav, it's not the first time though. It's not my first time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So Gaurang, is it your first time joining this call? Okay, Gaurang has introduced in chat, so no issues. If you have any issues with your microphone, feel free to say hi in chat. And if you have webcams, feel free to turn them on. And next up, we have Hetvi Soni. So hi, Hetvi. Would like to introduce?
Yeah, hello. So actually, I am not new. Last week only I attended the newcomers session, but yes, this meeting I have been attending for the first time. So, okay, I introduce myself. My name is Hetvi, and currently I am in my third year pursuing BTech in Computer Science and Engineering, and I am into front end development, and I have also completed one issue in the layer 5 repository.
Cool, that's great. Welcome to the meeting and to the community, Hetvi.
Yeah, thank you.
So seeing the participants list, I don't think we have more newcomers. So if I have missed anyone, feel free to interrupt me or say hi in chat. I'll just pause for 5 seconds. Cool. With that, let's move ahead and start with today's topic. So first up, we have a great announcement. That's we just hit 2000 stars on Meshery GitHub repository. So it's a great celebration. So if you haven't start the Meshery repository yet, someone will definitely share the link in chat. So make sure you give a star. And it's a great moment for all the contributors, for the Meshery contributors and all the maintainers, everyone here working in on Meshery project. So it's a great moment. So Abhi or Ashish or anyone would like to say a few words? Cool. I don't want to like put you on the spot right now, but yeah, if you have any few words for all the Meshery contributors, so would like to say.
Yep. So, yeah, thanks for, first of all, thanks for starting because you are the ones who started. So, and you find it value in it. So, additionally, yeah, it's really a great milestone for me. Yeah, I mean, getting the stars is one of the way that you know, uh, decide on, or you just see the results of your work. So that really excites me. And yeah, I'm thankful.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Abhi. So someone will definitely share. Okay, Manish has shared the link of GitHub Meshery repository. Make sure you give it a star. So let's move to first topic. That's by Vivek on issue of docs. So hi, Vivek, would like to share your screen?
Yes. I'll just share my screen. Just a minute. So this is the issue. So it says error codes is not coming on search. Let me just quickly show you what it is about. So we are, hello, am I audible? Hello, Gaurav?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, okay. So we are in our docs and on our error code space. Let's just, copy this and sort it out. Oops, it doesn't come here, it doesn't show up here, but we have our docs running locally too. And let's do the same here too. So, it's there, it shows up in the local environment, the docs running locally. So I think this problem is with this space only, the error code space that we have in docs. And it comes up in search while the docs that is running locally, but it doesn't come in that is deployed live, the site that is deployed live. So taking the matter into my own hands, like it's the issue created on February 10, but it hasn't seen any progress much. So I thought I will give it a go. So it's not something that I will, doing some changes in my local environment, then I can make sure like it's a solution, then push it maybe. So I'm here for, asking for your help, like any idea how can I advance in this, or like any heads up from you all. Or if you get them later, you can, whom to talk to in Slack channel too. So this is from my side.
Yeah, so before we move to next item, any quick comments for Vivek?
So it was the docs UI, right?
Yes, docs.
Yeah. So someone who is actively working on docs, is there any presence? Anyways, like yeah, maybe we can continue the conversation on Slack chat.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Or in the issue description. So I see like you are working on the issue. So
yeah, cool. Or
Yeah.
Vivek, you can also ping Aditya Subedi. He has worked on docs on a couple of items.
Okay,
Cool.
you got it.
Cool. So let's move to next item. That's by Suhail on adding support for operator health check. So do we have Suhail today? Yep, we do.
Yeah,
So hi
I'm
Suhail,
sorry.
would like to share?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So the issue that I was working on was that I was adding the support for operator health check. So here I have made the changes like I have checked for the whether it is connected to any Meshery context or not. And then basically the Meshery operator contains of two components, Meshery broker and Meshery sync. So it will lock the status of both of them. So if there are any feedback that we all can give. There are some tests that fails, but they are not from my files. My files.
Yeah, so comments or feedback for Suhail. I think Ashish must be having some, but he's having sore throat. So Ashish, you can type in chat if you have.
Yeah, I haven't reviewed this PR yet. Can you tag me here? Basically, ask me for review on this PR so that I'll leave my comments over here. Meanwhile, you can see if these lint tests are if these are not from your side, then too basically you can get them fixed if no one is actively working on those. So if you know where those are coming from, then yeah, you can wrap them in your PR only and add that in the description that you have fixed. And yeah, I'll review and I'll add my comments here.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. I
Thanks,
will see.
Suhail. Any other update from you, Suhail?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Let's move to next item. That's by Harkirat on rjsf update on error schema at the object field template. So hi Harkirat, would like to share?
Yeah.
Thank you. Harkirat, we can't see your screen and we can't either hear you. I think Harkirat is having some kind of issue, so it's good if we circle back to Harkirat. Okay, so we'll circle back to Harkirat after a while. So next up, we have an update from Abhi and Ashish on extension page redirection support. So Abhi.
Yeah. So I'll cover the item for him. Just 1 minute. So yeah, so first of all, what's this extension page redirect support? So we are onto the way of releasing our playground, and that playground would contain extension support as well as I mean, right now, if you check out playground, so there is some limited access to the playground, and you may be limited with the amount of things that you can do in that environment. Now, with the pre-release, like we have some of the private URLs that we can see and see the status of pre-release. So after the release of that in the playground.meshery.io, so you will be capable of doing anything in the cluster, and that's given that, so you have to be redirected to the extension page correctly, just in order to make take the full use of it. So I normally whenever you log in or whenever you log in, so you go to Meshery dashboard page, that's fine, but you may miss out the opportunity, or you may miss out the UI that is I mean, miss out the configurability and freedom that you may get in mesh map, and you may miss out on the infrastructure visual representation via visualizer. So all these things have been done just to redirect you to the correct location, seeing the status of you, whether you are already signed in, and I mean, the capability object itself shows what's the status of you in the current layer 5 cloud, and that's where you will get the redirection happening. So that was it about it. And the second thing is Mochawesome and Cypress config change. So Cypress itself is a UI testing tool, right? We use it quite extensively in two of the repos. One is the Meshery UI, and another is the Meshery extensions packages. You may check out on the layer 5 labs. So what it has is that we have recently wrote a GitHub action that would enable you to that will enable you to provide a Cypress result JSON, and it will format that thing into a very in a beautified table, so that it can be pushed to the GitHub comments, so that that thing, like the Cypress report, is so configurable that you can add any amount of information that you may want you want to see in the comment history or comment summary, right? So this is what I'm showing right now is the project, I mean the GitHub repo where you can make changes. It's completely written in TypeScript. So what it does is, like, it takes a Cypress JSON, all the results that you have accumulated via Cypress run, and it will turn that into a beautiful summary, so that it can be pushed to the comment section, right? So and Mochawesome, how it helps is that while using Cypress alone as a raw package, so the results that you get is internal to it, like it don't exposes the result.json file. So we with the Mochawesome we are just exposing result.json file, and that's it. So that result.json file could be later exposed to this GitHub action that we have just written. So that was it. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Abhi. So let me share my screen again. Yeah, and if, as Abhi said, if anyone wants to contribute towards Cypress, I'll just quickly share the link of docs.meshery.io. You can follow that to learn about Cypress and contribute to it. So next up, we have a topic from Ashish on refactor on mesh models. So Ashish would like to share.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Give me a second. Yeah, sorry, that was the Zoom pop-up. So, so yeah, this is the pull request, and uh, earlier we were using this query parameter to perform search on mesh models, whether it was on so we have these particular models that are exposed in the on the API/API/slash mesh models. Similarly, we have components, and similarly we have categories. So and all of these uh, are kind of have a hierarchical nature to them. So under each category you can have models, and yeah, so it's kind of yeah, that's the behavior right now. And previously, if you had to make a search, so for example, I'm on models right now, and if I had to make a kind of a greedy search, string matching kind of a thing, so so what I had to do was do currently slash, let's say, and then something like cube, and then set search equals true. So basically, the search string was like a resource name, and the query parameter was used to signal the fact that it's a search and not an exact match. Currently, if I do this, I'll not get any results because in my PR, I have changed it to not do it on a resource name basis, but rather in the query parameter itself. So if I want to search models on models, I would basically search something like this, and it'll return me this model because this string matches to the model. And this is the same for categories, and this behavior is same for components as well. So when this is relevant to the UI, at least part of the UI which uses this particular API, so that will have to be changed. And I think Abhi has already seen this comment, and he would be making some UI changes subsequent to this pull request. So yeah, that's a little bit of refactoring and change from my side.
I hope you have resolved the merge conflicts.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I'll resolve, and actually I have resolved and I have pushed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your update, Ashish. So let's circle back to Harkirat on his rjsf update. So Harkirat would like to share.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So recently, last week, I opened an issue over the rjsf repo. So about adding a support for row errors or error schema to the object field template. And now, since the issue has been fixed by the maintainers, so corresponding to that, we have created some fix around it. So that cause the removal of the unused code that we no longer required. And yeah, now we have a error schema at the object field as well, like we have for the uh, array field. So this PR was about upgrading the rjsf and about the code removal and nothing else. Thank you. Any questions regarding this?
Let's pause for 2 more seconds and we'll take that as a no. Okay, no questions for Harkirat. Let me share my screen again. So let's move to next item. That's by Antonette. So hi Antonette, would like to share your update?
Sure. So first one is the open telemetry library, and too many windows up. Can you click on the first link so we can take a look at the open
Yeah, sure.
issue? Okay, so for this, I'm providing an update. I'm working on this. Hopefully I can get this updated this week so that this can be propagated through all of the adapters, and also for, I believe, Ashish is Meshkit using this or not? If not, then it would just be the adapters and Meshery. And one of the reasons for the update is there was another open issue on network service mesh, and so it needs to bring that up to date. But whenever you try to make an update, it will try to pull in the latest packages, and so that will require bringing back to the main project here. So it has been open for some time, but I'm actually going to work on it this week and see if we can get it updated. So that's the update I have on that issue. And on the other issue that I want to provide is the storybook for Meshery UI. So as you already know, we already put in a PR about a week ago regarding 2 different components, one for the header or the app bar and one for a chip. And so the next thing that I will be working on is the code editor. It's actually a definite thing that we can have multiple people who would like to learn about storybook, and you can just test the component itself. But the problem that I have here is that since storybook is not completely separated from the project itself, so any package that you use, it affects through the main project. So I'll be making an update. Hopefully I'll have it sometime next week, and then we can have the code editor be changed to the new one that we need it to be, and then we can kind of move on to the next step. If anyone would like to help with the storybook, just any component that you can come up with, I have a list of the Meshery UI component that we have within the directory, and if you would like to make changes there, just let me know and we can go from there. If anybody have any questions, concerns, just let me know.
Yeah, cool. That's a great task being carried out by maintainer Antonette. So yeah, we definitely need more and more takers over here. So
Hello.
hey Adrika.
Hey, so I would like to collaborate with Antoinette for this issue. So, like, can you connect with me after this call or something like that on the chat so that I could know more about this, and I'll like to work on this storybook components part.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for signaling, Adrika.
Yeah.
Cool. So if anyone also wants to contribute to this particular item, feel free to signal now in Zoom chat or on Slack in Meshery UI Slack channel. So with that, assuming no more questions, thank you for your update, Antoinette. Let's move to next item. That's by Azan on adapter deploy and undeploy Meshery update. So hi Azan, would like to share?
Yeah, sure. Okay, let me share my screen. So up until now, what we used to do was deploy. Either we used to deploy all the adapters required for our Meshery, style adapter or console, like whatever, or we used to like have it deployed somewhere else. Okay, we did not have the option of deploying it on the go. That is about to change. We can do it in both the environments, either Docker or Kubernetes. We can do it from the Meshery server itself. Let it come up. The same feature will also be replicated in the Docker extension. I think Ambreen Azam is in the call. She's working on that, changing the UI currently. And I think another person, Udit, was also interested. Let's see, like whoever gets to complete this.
Yeah, cool. That's great. Till your server comes up. So Azan would like to give a quick overview of what things are taking place here, so other folks can also chime in on this effort if they wants to understand this, how adapter is being deployed and undeployed.
Sorry, could you repeat once?
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, if you could just tell about what changes you are making and like about undeploy and deploy of the adapters using Meshery.
What changes are okay? So it's like a feature addition. Okay, it's a completely new feature. Okay. Let me show it in GitHub. That would be even better. Yeah. So yeah. So we are keeping a list of available adapters that we can deploy by default. Okay, we have a list of adapters like that we support from our own side, istio and console and traffic. There's a whole list. Okay, we keep that as an enum. Where is that? Okay. Yeah, this is it. So yeah, we keep this as an enum here. Okay, this is like subject to change. It's pretty weird looking right now. But yeah, what we are doing is we have changed the current adapter tracker. Okay, we keep a track of all the adapters that currently is connected to the Meshery server. Okay, we have added two new methods to it: deploy and undeploy adapter, deploy adapter and undeploy adapter. So it's going to take an adapter and it's going to obviously deploy it or undeploy it. It will dynamically select whichever host the current Meshery server is deployed on, whether it's a Docker host or Kubernetes. Yeah, I'm kind of butchering the explanation here, but yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Azan. Let's also take a look in the UI and take any feedbacks. from folks.
Okay, seems like I need to upgrade my Meshery. I don't think I'll be able to show the UI right now. There's something new.
Yeah, no
Okay.
issues. You can share this update on Slack if you want. So
Yeah, sure.
any questions or feedback for Azan?
Would this work without a provider, with a non-provider, perhaps?
Yes. It's like not even related to the provider.
Okay, yeah. So then you could demo it without logging into Meshery Cloud, right? Or no?
I can, but you know, I have tested with the login. That's why I'm not even trying without the.
It'd be a nice to try right now. Kidding.
Let's see.
That's fine. I'm just wondering, like
Yeah.
this deploy and deploy logic, when is it ran? Like, does the user decide if it happens or is it something else?
Yes, like we have in settings, okay.
The life cycle? Oh no, in the settings. Okay.
Yeah, in settings. I think I'll have to open it here.
Yeah, cool. Azan, if you could also share your PR link in chat so folks can take a look.
Sure. Seems like I haven't built the UI and the 3001 isn't working.
Your dev server running?
Okay, it's is it working? It is working. What am I doing wrong? Wrong branch.
Yeah, cool. I think Azan, let's come back to you again, like signal in chat. Let's take a look after a while.
Yeah, sure,
till
sure.
then
Like you
fix
can go ahead
issues.
with other items and like call
Yeah,
me up
sure.
at the end again.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Let me share my screen. Thanks, Azan. So Naureen, you are up next with your update.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, actually, I just noticed some links are not working on Meshery documentation, and I've opened the issue, and I'm working on it. And there is another issue that, DNS, the address given here, if you open that address, it doesn't work. So it says page is not found. So I'm not sure if it's the same link that it should be there, or it may be a different link.
Yeah, the link says, the link points to docs.meshery.io, meshery.layfile.io/docs. So yeah, I think it's not a valid link, so it needs to be updated.
Okay, so shall I put a different one there instead?
Yeah, I think we don't have Pranav on the call, so
I think
Ashish, do you know what links? Should it point to the API docs? Because it's saying meshery.layfile.io/docs.
Yeah, I think it should be docs.meshery.io.
Yeah, I think because it's saying DNS. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this. So let's get
Maybe
your.
I can do the rest of it and confirm it later.
Yeah, sure. You can open up a PR and let's
Yeah, I will.
get your
Okay.
answer on the PR.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Any other update from you, Naureen?
No, thank you.
Thank you. So let's move to next item. That's by Ritik on update of flyers on email template.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, so I have updated the flyer with the new screenshot which showing the new icon that we have in the Meshery playground, and I have also updated this flyer to the mail template. And the second update is I have worked on the security and compliance icon that is also updated on the Meshery playground. And the third thing is, as suggested by Lee, I have also added the drop shadow to all these icons. So if he confirms that this will work, then we can update these icons on the Meshery playground. And I hope this looks fine now. These are the updates from my side.
Yeah, this looks good to me. So anyone has feedback for Ritik? He's working on flyers for Meshmap.
Yeah, that looks great to me as well.
Yeah, great work, Ritik.
Thank you.
So next up, let's move to an update from Ashish on add support for deploying artifacthub models. So Ashish would like to share.
Yeah, Meshmap is still loading, so you can go with the next item and then circle back to me.
Oh, sure, that will be great. So next item is this item by you, Vivek?
No, not from me.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just cover it. So Docker extension enhancement UX needed. So we have a Docker extension for Meshery. Let me just quickly show it. So it needs a couple of enhancements. I think the enhancement will be related to Meshmodel only, or Abhi can clear some stuff. Do we have any open issue on this on the Meshery repository? If not, let's get an issue open so folks can sign up for this particular issue. Cool. So let's move to next item. That's by Harsh on Meshery installation issue on Google Kubernetes engine.
Yeah, hi Gaurav. So yesterday while working on the thing which Lee allocated to me, I found out that while installing Meshery, I may share my screen second. I have the permission to do so. Screen, yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I took a screenshot yesterday. So what was happening, like when I was trying to do the same thing that Lee told me to, I was trying to install that Meshery on GKE. Okay. So it was prompting me an error.
Bro, band karo yaar.
Okay, it was prompting me here error. As you can see, error failed to start Meshery, but behind the scene, everything was running perfectly. So this is the case. So even after script fails and shows error, every component is working fine.
Okay.
As you can see, it was showing me error that error failed to start Meshery, but every component is working fine.
Would you change to the terminal? Where
Actually, I don't have that one. It's like I
no,
stopped it.
the screenshot.
Yeah.
So missing Meshery config file and then starting Meshery, then to start Meshery. So I think there is some wrong error check in the script file or somewhere else. So yeah, we'll have to check up. Did you create an issue for this as well in GitHub?
No, I was thinking to create, because I was thinking like I'll give it more time. I'll test it one more time, maybe some issue from the backend or something. So if the issue persists, I'll create an issue.
That's fine. You don't have to wait for the second reproduction. You can just yeah, upload all the information that you have currently, and there we can proceed.
Okay, sure. So that's the only thing from my side.
Cool. Thank you, Harsh.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Cool. So let's discuss about community handbook. So I want to discuss this thing in the last, but Ashish, are you ready with your bit?
Yeah, I can.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a small update regarding what you can and cannot deploy. So of all the categories of components that we have, these are distributed into categories, and each has a bunch of models, and each model has a bunch of components which are versioned, and all of these things are sourced from different places. So some of these are sourced directly from artifacthub, some of these are sourced from Kubernetes API server. Some of these are dynamically generated, so they're sourced from your Kubernetes server. So for example, I'm connected to 3 of my clusters, so any of the notifications I can see that some of the components were created from the 76 were created from this cluster, and the rest from the rest of the clusters. And if you connect a service mesh adapter, then they also register a component, and component is a unit of deployment, and component definition, that when I say register, it registers a component definition file, which describes the capability of that component. Just like in Kubernetes, you have a custom resource definition for each custom resource. Here you have component definition for each component. And this node that I've created right now it has been created using a component definition, but in the final design, that is the designs that you find here, this is a component, and it has a bunch of fields, all of these fields that I would not fill right now. So right now, if you deploy any service mesh adapter, any of the components that were generated from a service mesh adapter that you had connected, it would deploy. Same was the case for Kubernetes, but all of these components that we have here, they weren't deployable. So if you were to deploy, I mean, they were deployable, you could deploy them to any cluster, but let's say you want to deploy this Argo CD resource. Now the definition for this Argo CD resource is with us, because we scraped, or we took those components from artifacthub, so we know about these components. But the cluster you're trying to deploy this thing in might not know about this, and most clusters don't, because they don't have and so a controller is the unit, or an operator, for the lack of a better word, which is used to deploy the definitions, and then a controller which watches for those definitions and does something. So for example, right now, if I want to deploy a Postgres this is a Postgres resource, right? And if I were to deploy this in a vanilla cluster, then it would fail and it would say that this kind in API version is undefined. I couldn't recognize it because your cluster did not have support for it. So the idea is that when a component definition carries metadata, basically I'll show you how a component definition looks like. This is the whole component definition. So for example, it has kind API version, it has what kind of a color it would look like on the UI. Just one field I have added, which is this Helm URL. So this metadata is not structured, so it can have anything. And since these components are generated, these ones that I'm showing you right now, these are registered by artifacthub handler, kind of, you can say, and these are generated from artifacthub, and from there we have the Helm URL, and this Helm URL points to the Helm chart that we used to extract those definitions from. And the good thing is that the same CRDs that we used to generate these definitions, wherever these definition CRDs are kept, they're in the same Helm chart, the actual controller is kept as well. So when we deploy it, we can make a check that if you have these controllers or not, and if you don't, then we'll deploy it on behalf of you. So in my case, what will happen is that when I'll deploy this thing in a cluster that does not understand this resource, it will first deploy a Postgres operator. And since before the demo, I already deployed a Postgres operator, it's already there. So it will just try to deploy this particular resource. And let me change its name because the same name was already there. So let's say I call it this, and I'm testing out with the most basic resource because it doesn't have any other required field. So it just takes the name of a team. So if I deploy it in my local cluster, it would be deployed, and I could right now I'm running on a different version, so I cannot use visualizer. So I'll have to go back to kubectl for this one. So if I look at over the Postgres teams, so just 11 seconds ago, this resource was created. So this deployment works because because we are propagating the method of deployment, you can say, or the basically right now this is Helm chart. For any other handler, this can be anything. Inside of metadata, the registrant which registered these capabilities can also add a few things to it, like the Helm chart URL, which it can use while deploying the component. For Kubernetes, we don't need it because for most of the Kubernetes, for Kubernetes resources like pods and deployments, those are native kind of Kubernetes deployments. So we don't need that. And because we generated those components from your cluster, so your cluster gave those things to us. So for example, right now I have these three clusters connected, and if I were to go back to my Kubernetes, I'll see like multiple versions and these three different Kubernetes versions, and all of these components came from the different Kubernetes clusters that I'm connected to. So in this case, I don't need to add any extra stuff, because if your cluster gave this definition, it means your cluster is already capable of deploying these. That was the overall thing. The PR is up, and there are still some changes that needed to be added, and some reviews that we might go back and forth on before this gets merged. And as Playground comes up, which it would in like today or maybe tomorrow at max, Playground is down right now. So after Playground is up, you can play around with these resources, design them, and when the PR is merged, you can also deploy them on the demo Playground environment that we have. So yeah, that was all from me.
Yeah, cool. That was a great update, Ashish. So any questions for Ashish or any feedback?
I have a question on the Playground. Well, it's not tied to the Playground, but when there's multiple users, so you and they're using mesh map, so that these components are produced with some default namespaces, right?
I mean, yeah, when you drag and drop them, the components, they by default, it just namespace is default.
Would there be a conflict between users if they try to deploy the same component around the same time?
I don't think so. I mean, it would be just as much as a conflict as two people who have access to the same cluster trying to deploy something like that's the same kind of, and that is taken care by Kubernetes. So they will get an error, helpful error that you can't deploy this because XYZ. We do not handle the conflict resolution at the level of Kubernetes. That's the job of the underlying orchestration engine, which in this case is Kubernetes. So I don't think that will be an issue.
Yeah, just because of the playground, like there'll be multiple users trying things out, and but they would have at least some kind of descripting error in order for them to resolve it by themselves, right?
Yeah, and also in playground environment, it would be kind of a wild west because anyone can deploy anything. So we don't guarantee that you can deploy this XYZ because someone else might do something else to your cluster. There is no isolation in the playground environment, and it gets reset every 24 hours. So it's just for people to come and try basically play around with it. It's not for production environment. So that's why.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's non-production use.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Ashish and Mario. Let me share my screen again. So if you haven't signed up for Meshery Cloud Native Playground, make sure you sign up. I'll quickly share the link of Meshery Playground in chat. So with that, let's move to next item. That's by me. So we have almost 4,000 folks in our Slack community, and a couple of folks and newcomers asked this question, that how they can be invited to the GitHub organization, or how they can join the Layer 5 or the Meshery repository. So we do have a community handbook. So if you go to layfive.io/community/handbook, so we have a couple of blocks listed over here that will tell everything from A to Z about the Layer 5 community, what all roles that we have, how you can contribute to the Layer 5 community and Meshery projects, and other things. So let's talk about how you can be invited to a GitHub organization, or how you can be invited to have a member profile on the layfive.io/members. So your efforts like surely do not get unnoticed. So we have a couple of team of meshmates and community managers who do a weekly or a monthly review of potential contributors, and they invite folks to have a community member profile as well as GitHub organizations. So you can go over this particular docs to know about more process. And we also have a issue to update this particular item on layfive.io. So yeah, go through this particular docs if you have any kind of questions, and feel free to connect with any of the meshmates or community managers. So with that, I think we are on the end of today's topic. So Azan would like to show anything. Did your server started up?
Yeah.
Would you quickly like to share the thing?
Yeah. Forgive the CSS. So yeah, there are still many cases left here. Okay, but functionally it does work. This is how it currently looks. This is what it currently looks like. We'll try to deploy the adapter.
So yeah, if you could go back to UI. Yeah, didn't we added a switcher over there for the adapter?
We after I had a discussion with Ashish, like realized that the switch thing wouldn't really work here, because we can in theory deploy two different versions of the same adapter, and the switch here would mean that we have exactly one instance of every adapter that we want to like turn or on or off.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So,
yeah, the adapter got deployed, so we can connect to it. We can like simply sync here if that's not the port that we exposed here isn't available in the adapter URL dropdown.
Okay, cool. So yeah, no issues. If you need, I can help with the CSS over here. I can make commit to the same PR.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it got connected. If it wasn't connected here, we can like connect like. Any questions?
I have one. So how
Okay.
does this with the Meshery config file, does this override that, or does the config file still play
You're
part
talking about the
in?
components in the Meshery CTL config, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything to that. Okay. So only when Meshery server is getting started, it's going to use the like components, whatever are defined there, to deploy them. Okay, so Meshery CTL does that. Meshery server doesn't really do anything. Like we are trying to not override anything in that config. So what's going to happen is if you close the server, okay, the adapters are going to remain like that only. But if the server is also closed and the adapter is also killed, then if you like, revive your server, you're not going to see that adapter there. There is going to be no track of it.
So the
I hope
bottom
that
drop
answers.
down, yeah. So the
So
bottom
this
drop
is,
down shows all the adapters, even though they're not in the Meshery config.
yeah, sorry, even though they are not in the,
So the Meshery CTL config file, let's say
yeah, they
I
show
just
all of them that we currently support
show all of them.
for deployment.
Oh, okay. And if I start and stop, okay, yeah. Forget that the last question. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Anyone else?
Cool. I don't think anyone has more comments.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you for showing the UI, Azan. So with that, we are
Thank you.
on time. Yeah. So with that, we are on time today. So thank you all for joining Meshery development meeting. Make sure to subscribe the layer 5 community calendar to be synced in with every meeting. Do press this big fat yellow button to add all the meetings to your calendar. So yeah, it was a good meeting with lots of good updates. So thank you all for joining. Thanks Abhi, thanks Ashish. Bye everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye. Thanks for joining.